The Bible contains numerous accounts of formidable giants who terrorized entire nations and seem invincible in battle. These giants, often described as part of ancient warrior clans or supernatural beings, were known for their immense size, strength, and violent nature. Despite their overwhelming power, each of these giants was ultimately defeated, emphasizing God's divine authority, the triumph of faith over fear, and the fulfillment of His promises. These stories serve as powerful reminders that no earthly obstacle, no matter how great, can withstand the will of God. Goliath, the Philistine champion. Perhaps the most famous giant in the Bible, Goliath of Gath, was a Philistine warrior who stood approximately 9 feet 9 inches tall. 1 Samuel 17:4. He was a seasoned fighter, clad in heavy bronze armor, and wielded a spear so massive that its iron tip alone weighed around 15 pounds. For 40 days, Goliath taunted the Israelites, demanding that they send a champion to fight him in single combat. The Israelite army was paralyzed with fear, until David, a young shepherd with unwavering faith in God, stepped forward. Armed with only a success slingshot and 5 smooth stones, David declared that he was fighting in the name of the Surenaz Lord Almighty. With a single well-aimed shot, David struck Goliath in the forehead, causing him to collapse. David then used Goliath's own sword to decapitate him, securing a stunning victory. This battle was more than a physical confrontation. It was a divine demonstration that faith in God could overcome even the most terrifying enemy. Goliath, king of Bashan, the last of the Rephaim. Another formidable giant was Og, king of Bashan, one of the last of the Rephaim, an ancient race of giants that once inhabited the land. Og was so massive that his iron bed was recorded as 13 feet long and 6 feet wide, Deuteronomy 3:11, emphasizing his enormous stature and strength. He ruled over 60 fortified cities and was a powerful opponent. But despite his might, Og and his forces were utterly defeated by the Israelites under Moses' leadership. This victory was significant because it reassured the Israelites that no enemy was too great for them when they placed their trust in God. It also solidified Israel's possession of the land east of the Jordan River, a crucial step in their journey toward the Promised Land. The Nephilim, the mysterious giants before the flood. One of the most enigmatic mentions of giants in the Bible comes from Genesis 6:4, where the Nephilim are described as the offspring of the sons of God and human women. These beings were known for their great power, strength, and violent tendencies. Some interpretations suggest that they were the result of fallen angels mating with human women, while others believe they were simply a race of mighty warriors. Their presence on earth was associated with extreme corruption, lawlessness, and wickedness, which contributed to God's decision to send the great flood to cleanse the earth. When Noah and his family were chosen to survive the flood, the Nephilim were wiped out. Yet their legend continued to inspire fear and speculation about their origins. The Anakim, the giants who terrified the Israelite spies. During the time of Moses, the Israelites encountered another race of giants known as the Anakim, descendants of Anak. These giants were particularly fearsome and were known for their strength and imposing size. When Moses sent 12 spies to explore the Promised Land, 10 of them returned with fearful reports about the Anakim, saying, "We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes and we look the same to them." Numbers 13:33. This report caused widespread panic among the Israelites, leading them to doubt God's promise and refuse to enter the land. As a result, they were condemned to wander in the wilderness for 40 years. However, when Joshua later led the next generation of Israelites into Canaan, the Anakim were driven out and destroyed. Joshua 11:21-22. Their defeat demonstrated that God's promises would be fulfilled, regardless of how intimidating the obstacles appeared. Other giants in the Bible, the descendants of Goliath. Goliath was not the only giant in Philistine history. The Bible mentions several other enormous warriors who were descendants of Rapha, a clan of giants, and they continued to challenge Israel even after Goliath's death. These included Elshbi-Benob, who sought to kill King David but was slain by David's warrior Abishai, 2 Samuel 21-16-17. Saph, another Philistine giant who was killed in battle, by Sibbecai the Hushathite, 2 Samuel 21:18. Lami, the brother of Goliath, who was struck down by Elhanan, 1 Chronicles 20 verse 5. An unnamed giant who had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, emphasizing his abnormal and intimidating appearance. He was killed by Jonathan, the son of David's brother, Shimea, 2 Samuel 21:20-21. These encounters further reinforce the idea that, while giants may have seemed invincible, they ultimately fell before those who placed their faith in God. The symbolism of giants in the Bible beyond their physical presence, giants in the Bible often symbolized overwhelming obstacles, fear, and seemingly insurmountable challenges. Whether it was Goliath taunting Israel, the Anakim discouraging the spies, or the Nephilim representing ultimate corruption, each of these giants represented forces that sought to stand guard against God's people. However, their consistent defeat, through divine intervention, faith, or perseverance, illustrates a powerful truth. Faith overcomes fear. David's battle with Goliath is the ultimate example of how trusting in God allows even the most ordinary person to triumph over giants. God fulfills his promises. The defeat of the Anakim and Og, king of Bashan, reassured Israel that God would provide for them and lead them into victory. No enemy is too great. Even entire races of giants, such as the Rephaim and the Anakim, were ultimately wiped out, showing that God's power surpasses any earthly threat. Conclusion: the giants of the Bible, whether real, legendary, or symbolic, played a significant role in shaping the faith of God's people. They tested the Israelites' courage, challenged their trust in God, and demonstrated the importance of faith in overcoming fear. From Goliath's defeat by David to the destruction of the Nephilim, the Anakim, and the Rephaim, the Bible consistently teaches that no matter how great the enemy, God is greater. These stories continue to inspire believers today, reminding them that, with faith, perseverance, and obedience to God, even the most overwhelming challenges can be overcome.